Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
This world is changing more and more every day, and we've decided to change right along with it. My name is Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the president of Trajectory TV Network. At Trajectory, our vision is to provide a creative platform for top content creators and storytellers from around the globe. We're also dedicated to providing this world with content that is healing, educational, empowering, exciting, and above all else, entertaining and transparent. So right now, I invite all of you who believe yourselves to be global game changers to use the link found here and simply take a chance. Schedule a virtual chat where you'll have the opportunity to share your vision for your very own global television show with me, the network president. So use that link, and together, let's begin changing and healing this world, one story at a time. And remember, whether you have years of experience in front of the camera or zero experience, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is your desire to share great content through television and a willingness to share it with passion and with purpose. You might ask, how do I know if I've fallen in love with my purpose and my purpose has fallen in love with me? It's easy when you've lost your voice because you just can't stop talking about it. I'll see you soon.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you
Yeah, it's morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. I'm so happy to be here with you today. It's Thursday, and I thought it was Wednesday when I woke up. I even texted one of my coaching clients who comes on Wednesdays, and I was like, how come I don't see you on the schedule for today? And she was like, because it's Thursday. So anyway, hey, it's good. It's just great to be here. It's great to be alive. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Got a great show for you today. He's been here before, I think. But you're gonna love this kid. You're gonna love this kid. I'll get into that in a moment. Well, let me see. Do I have any announcements? Uh, you, well, maybe. Okay, today's monologue. Okay, today's monologue. I'm just gonna tell you something. Sometimes we just got to be vulnerable, and that's me today. Excuse me. A little water. That smoke from Canada still messing with us here in Chicago. Is that happening where you live? Put it in the comments. So anyway, I've you know how you come. I just turned 61 on the 4th of July, and always that first week or two, I really do an inventory, an internal inventory, like because especially when you're over 50, you start thinking, am I doing my best? Am I leaving something that can ease suffering in this world after I'm gone? You just start thinking that way, not to be morbid or anything, but you do, or at least I do. And I just wanted to say how grateful I am. Seriously, 7 years ago when I started this show, I'll never forget it. It was a morning where things had started off on a good track and let's say a great trajectory. Shameless plug right there. Um, and I stubbed my toe or something, and I just lost it, And I realized that was like at 5 in the morning. It wasn't until like 2 something in the afternoon that I had really just released it and gotten myself back on track, so to speak. So I asked God for something that would help me do better. And this is the result of that ask, this show. So I'm just really grateful that where two or more of us comes together, something wonderful is always guaranteed to happen. So there it is. And there it is right there. That's the bell of purpose here every single day. Not a prop, not a gimmick. More of a reminder, an opportunity, if you will, that when you hear the bell ring, it means that something has come out in the comment section or from the guest or from myself every blue moon, some truth that I don't want you to miss. So just like that bell has a ring to it, so does the truth. And when you hear the bell, it means, hey, back the car up. Might be something left on the side of the road that's not roadkill, but something you can fill your soul with, right? Can I get an amen? Put it in the comments. And welcome back from her day off. She had an extended holiday. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, my sidekick. She's been here all 6 years. And I'm drinking some of that coffee I get for Christmas. Lord, that wasn't a senior moment. Welcome to 61, y'all. For my birthday, I get a lot of coffee. I get it for Christmas too in my stockings. But anyway, this is, I forget what some kind of waffle coffee. They smell like it when you open the bag, even sometimes when they brew. But when you taste it, to me, they just taste like coffee. That's why I don't go to Starbucks. Why pal that? I drink black coffee anyway. So I have Tyler here today. And wait a minute. Let me flip over. I gotta look at something. Hold on. I'm getting there. Yeah, I thought so. Tyler Emerson, because they only put his first name on there. I just didn't want to mispronounce it or anything. I met this guy years ago when I was just starting. As a matter of fact, the very first Power of We Symposium was in the works. And I went out. I had an opportunity. Thank you, Cheryl Angela. She plays the harp. And she connected me with the Lisa Nichols camp. And I went out there and I shadowed their program for kids, if you will, entitled, wait a minute, here it comes, 61, y'all, Igniting the Teen Spirit. It'll show up if you give it a minute. Seriously. So anyway, I was so impressed, and he was a leader then, and now here we are, I think 6 years later, and he was a kid. Now he has a kid, and I just wanted to follow up because I see him on social media from time to time, and I'm just so proud of our kids and our youth. You know that. Power of We now in its 6th year, just came back from Romania,
And this kid came into my life before the first one ever hit the ground. So let's get him in here. Here's how we roll out the virtual red carpet. We stand to our feet virtually. We applaud virtually by putting a few hearts on the screen as we welcome Tyler Emerson. Here he comes, you guys. Now, I was going to say,
so I've been trying to connect my camera in my hand for a little bit, but it works for 5 seconds and then turns away. So I'm kind of stuck with this really bad camera. I've never had this problem ever before, and I've been practicing my own podcast on this exact website as well. Yeah, exactly. And I'm now having issues, and I'm like, why am I having issues?
Do you know
the camera?
Because you have StreamYard, you could have connected to 2 of your destinations.
Interesting.
So you could have gone live right now on 2 of your destinations. So next time,
yeah,
you're on a show. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, you're here now, and it's been more than 5 seconds, and I'm still looking at you. So maybe the problem has solved itself.
I have a better one if it works. This one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's better, but it keeps disconnecting, like it'll freeze.
Mm.
Yeah,
well,
so we'll see how long we rock with it.
Let's see how long. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I
know.
Have done a lot of different things since we last talked, and doesn't seem like anything's going to stop anytime soon.
Do you remember how many years ago it was I met you out at Lisa's event?
It was 6 years.
Was it 6 years? I figured. Yep. Yeah.
It was about, or actually, no. It should have been maybe about 4.5, 5. We should be coming about like 5.5, like right around that time frame.
I think it's 6. You know why? Because I just did my 5th Power of We in their annual. And the thing is, it's got to be longer than that. Wait a minute. How far away it was? I tell you when it was. It was 2017. Because that was the first Power of We. Because I took 2 years off because of COVID. Yeah, it was 2017.
Oh, wow.
So 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. 6 years.
That is, wow.
I know. I think you were like 18. How old are you now?
I'm 23. And that's funny because I tell everyone that I've been with Motivating the Teen Spirit for 6 years, but it's clearly been longer than that. It's been 10 years now. Oh my gosh.
See? Now who's having the senior moments? Okay. So much. I'm going to listen before we even get all into the ooey gooey chewy center of this interview. I like to give the guests just a moment to kind of create a vibe with the audience. So I'm going to dip out and just let you introduce yourself. That's why I didn't read the bio. Just tell them who you are and what you were doing with Motivating the Teen Spirit. And then I'll come back in and we'll get officially started. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, all you. Take it away.
Let's do it. So, guys, my name's Tyler, and I have been with Motivating the Teen Spirit for obviously 10 years. I created my own company. It's called Poison Incorporation. And what we do is we motivate people to be better people. And exactly that. Where do you find the motivation to be a better person? You don't, because no one else is sitting out there telling you to go be a better person. Who wakes up every day and thinks, oh, I should be a better person today. I should make someone else's day better. Very few slight people. And we should keep telling people that, and we should keep pushing that upon other people. We should not stop at just ourselves. We should not stop at just the people that are in our very small community of a household. Keep pushing towards it. And this is what I'm about. And, you know, everything that I've been doing is been based around that. My company, we've been also doing car meets, car shows. It's a very different thing in the world. And I want to bring light to that. A lot of people in that aspect of the realm get very sad about things. And so I like to bring into my own aspect of, hey, everything that you're going through is not just you. Exactly what, you know, Lisa kind of would like to say is, you know, you're not going through anything alone. And that was one thing that I learned very heavily from Motivating the Teen Spirit. And, you know, I want to take that and push that upon everybody. You're not going through anything alone.
Awesome. Sorry, I had my back turned. I pulled you up on the TV back there, so you might squint and see yourself on the big screen TV.
No worries.
So let's talk about motivating the teen spirit. You're still active.
So I'm not with them. We kind of, I would say, had more of a less of a slight disagreement in the way that
Oh,
everything was working. So I have stepped away from working with them at the moment. I wouldn't say that's forever.
right.
Um, I believe they just started up a summer camp that they're doing. They're working on a summer camp.
Okay.
Should be going on around, I think it was this first week or second week of July. So, I'm always still supporting what they're doing.
Of course. I get it. And boy, see, transparency. That's the key. So listen, because I didn't bring you in because of teen spirit, motivating teen spirit. I brought you in because of what I saw and who I met at motivating the teen spirit. So let's go back to your origin story a little bit, because you're 23 years old. And
Right.
I mean, for it to have been so long ago to me that we met 6 years ago, and you were so young, and I remember your story. Talk about what led you to motivating the teen spirit. What kind of a safe house was that for you as a kid? Because you were how old when you first stepped into their world?
I was 13.
You were 13. What was going on in
Mhm.
a 13-year-old's life that somebody knew you needed something? Talk about that if you could.
Right, yeah. So at 13, I was living with my grandmother, and she, I don't think she thought too much that I was like the worst kid ever. I don't like. She might say like he was a little bit troubled, but I wouldn't say that she would say anything for further than that. So she brought me to Motivating the Teen Spirit. Just told me it would be like a weekend with all these teenagers in a room. I was totally open to the idea. Was not against it at all. We go and I show up and I was like, oh, this is very new. I was expecting, she said it would be like a workshop beforehand. I went to, it's called Millionaire Mind or something, The Mind of a Millionaire.
Okay.
It's a very big like workshop professional that they have. So I
But
was
more
kind of
for adults.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to be more like that, where, I'm sitting there in a seminar listening to people talk. And right away I get there and it was really interactive compared to what that was. So I was a little bit thrown off. I was like, oh, wow, like it kind of threw me into my shell a little bit because I was expecting to be in my shell more so. I
Mhm.
wasn't expecting to meet people. And so, right away we do like the eye contact and that just opened me up. And then as time went on, it got around to like the first break and I started talking to all the other teenagers, got to lunchtime. We all were hanging out, started playing football together, and just small things like that broke
But
open my shell to where I
well,
could
what?
realize that MTS was something different.
Oh, MTS. Good. We don't have to say the whole name every time. Thank you for that. So, but let me ask you. So, if you were living with your grandmother, that means that it was a non-traditional setting.
Mhm.
And so why, if you're okay with talking about it, why, what? Oh, there it goes. Oh, look at the little thing with its tail moving. Ah, I like
Let's
that.
move that
So,
away. We're
so
gonna go back here.
you can hear me. Why were you at your grandma's? What was going on with mom and dad? If you can talk about that.
So nothing was going on with them. I had got into an argument with my father and he had kicked me out at the time. So I was
At
transitioning to live with,
13,
yes.
where did he think you would go?
I think exactly where he thought, straight to my grandmother's house.
Okay. And so that worked out, obviously.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
So she took me under her belt and from there I just,
What was
was with
trouble?
her every day.
That's really what I really want to ask. So, what was trouble? Were you hanging out with the wrong crowd? Were you drinking beer or something and smoking a little weed and just
Yep.
listen? I'm going to do what I want to do because kids do that when they're angry at something else.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Something's going on, and the adults aren't doing the things and being who they really should be, but they make everybody think they are. I know
Right.
a lot of kids tell me they do. So okay, so you go to grandma's and she says right off the bat, I got just the thing. So you went
Hmm.
in, you started opening up. What happened when you started opening up?
I started realizing a lot of what was going on in my life was 100% my fault. You can't point the finger at anyone else when you're the one creating problems for yourself. You're the one that's getting the bad grades. You're the one that's missing school. You're the one that's causing everyone around you to be worried about what your next step is going to be. And that's causing stress on their life, and you're not even realizing that you're stressing out all the adults around you. And MTS was able to just slap that right in my face and paint a beautiful picture of, hey, this is exactly what you're doing and how you're showing up.
Wow. So okay, so you spent the weekend. So you go home after the first day and you come back the next day?
Yeah, so we lived in LA, and MTS is taking place in San Diego. So we went down to San Diego, and me and her got a room together. So afterwards, after we dispersed, we went to dinner, my grandma and I, and it was an amazing dinner. It was a
Because your
great
grandma
dinner.
wasn't at that day you were at, right? Because the adults don't come that first day, do they? Or how'd they do
No,
it?
adults come to both days.
They do. Because I remember
Hmm.
when I was there, I thought a lot of the parents and stuff showed up for the graduation part that day. Remember?
Yeah, so a lot of the times, some like parents will do that. Sometimes
Mhm.
it'll be just one parent attending the whole event,
The
while
whole
then the
event. Okay.
second parent comes to
Okay.
the graduation.
So
It
grandma was
varies.
with you that day.
Yes. Well,
So
no.
what do you remember that
So the
conversation?
the day that you were there was actually a very, very special day to me. That was actually the first MTS I'd been to since my grandmother had passed away. So my grandmother passed away exactly 5 years ago. So yeah, it was 5 years ago. It was 5 years because
Really?
she passed away exactly 5 years ago, about a week ago. And
And
so
how
that was
soon
the
did you go?
MTS is it was in July that year. It was at the end of
Yeah,
July. And so it was in about like 2 weeks if we were 5 years ago.
I remember that day too.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you're
so that
here.
was yeah, that was very significant to me because I remember. Um, so I had asked everyone to wear red, and that was very like opening to me to see how many people like showed up and wore red. And then after that, you had sung a song on the second day,
Oh yeah.
and it
I
was
forgot about that. I think it
yeah,
was
and I came
Dream.
up. It was What a
Or
Wonderful
What a
World.
Wonderful World.
Yep.
Okay.
And that was one of the songs that like it I remember her playing it like pretty constantly when I would like be around her. She always played oldies. So I grew up listening to like Elvis around
Yeah,
her,
yeah, yeah.
all stuff like that. So she would play that, and I remember like listening to it, finding her playlist after she died, and it was at the top of her playlist as a favorite, and it was the only one that was favorite. And then you sung it about a week and a half after I found that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And here we are. See? I knew. See, you guys, listen. A lot of people, right? And what a coincidence. Or ooh, weird how that lined up. No, it isn't. That's a little
It's
thing
crazy.
called divine timing.
Hmm.
When things are lined up. So, so that must have wow. I did not know that. I did not know that. So your grandma took you there and it changed your life. And enabled you to begin changing the lives of so many others since then. Just think of all the people that have passed through your yard, so to speak. And here's another thing I think people probably assume that because you're so young, when we speak of the people that you've impacted, they might just automatically think they're your peers. But I know that's not true because I was not your peer as far as age, but you impacted me. You're here all these years later. So it means that, my eyes been on you. I've been watching all the things you've been doing from time to time, not in a stalker kind of way, but celebrating with you along the way. And
Right.
so if you, let's just hypothetically ask, if your grandma, say, had not taken you that day, and you had stayed on that path that you were on, and you know that path, It's still standing and right where it was, right over there. It doesn't leave. We leave it. Where would you think you would be today? How different would your life be today had you not made that choice 5 years ago?
Saved my life. That saved my life. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
You mean literally or figuratively saved your life, or both?
Literally. That MTS showed me how to, deal with all the depression that's came up in my life. And, I think without that, like I would not have been able to get through it. And I would have either allowed myself to put myself in a place of danger or, harmed myself without the tools that I'd had. Yeah, that MTS definitely saved my life, as I went through everything afterwards.
Do you think your grandma knew you were depressed? Because a lot of people right there, 10 feet from a kid, say later, especially like at suicides, you hear the parents and stuff go, I didn't see, I had no idea. I didn't know. I just watched something yesterday about a 15-year-old girl that hung herself. And the parents were being interviewed and they were like, no, we saw nothing. And these were parents you could tell were pretty, focused. And,
Right.
they had put all these things in place, but still they didn't know. So can you talk about that as far as, because you're still a kid and kids that age still, you deal with them. How is it that people the closest to these kids don't see how close they are to something horrible? What is it? Are the kids just really savvy at hiding it? Are people around them, i.e. parents and authority figures, just blind to it? What do you think is going on, Tyler?
I think a lot of it has to do with, what I said about how people feel alone. And, it's just not knowing who to talk to and how to show it. So a lot of one lesson that we go through in MTS is the Coke lesson, where, you have Coke and you could throw, oil on top of Coke. And so when I wake up in the
Oh,
morning,
yeah.
you wake up in the morning, you throw this happy face on, you look in the mirror and you just tell yourself, like, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be happy today. You're throwing on that makeup, you're throwing on that mask, and you just cover yourself with a full mask every day. And you don't allow people to see it. I mean, one of the best examples is Robert Williams, one of the people that made all of us laugh hysterically for years, just
Right.
up and was in the most darkest place in the world, and none of us could ever see that. And a lot of that just came from a point of him making all these other people laugh. Everyone has such a great life. I don't think he ever knew, who do I talk to? And my camera froze again. I apologize.
That's okay.
And
We
I
can
don't
hear
think
you. That's the
he
best part.
knew, like, who do I go and talk to about what I'm going through? And that's simply just not having the tools, not just having the tools of what do I do when I'm sad.
I want to throw another hypothetical situation. I'm anxious to hear this one. I really am. That's what I love about you, because I know you're going to be able to come back and really speak to whatever it is that's put in front of you. Not a lot of people can do.
Is this my connection? Froze a little bit. Uh-oh. What's going on here? I think I could hear you now, right?
Oh, wasn't his fault. That was my fault. Our internet. And the guy was here all day yesterday. Well, not all day, but anyway, I see Tyler's coming back in. Okay. Are you back? There you go.
I am back.
Okay. That was actually here, the first one. So here's the question. Here's the hypothetical.
Gotcha.
Let's say you have a 23-year-old buddy that is
Oh no, am I losing you again? Is that me? Oh, okay, still. I'm gonna turn off this light. Is this me or is this you?
It was me.
I think it is your connection. Yeah.
Because they can still see you.
Okay.
I was watching you on my phone. I'm just waiting. But everybody, my tech guy was here yesterday, and guess what we're going to do? I'm going to call Xfinity, and I'm going to get an entire thing strung, modem, my own internet line, all this, and just dedicate it to it because I'm tired of this. So anyway, there's that. So here's the hypothetical. You have a 23-year-old buddy who's African-American. A lot of people know that African
Oh no, I'm losing you again. Oh no. I got about half of that.
Okay. Yeah, African-American buddy, afraid of getting pulled over by the police because this, that, that whole thing. That's a thing. That's a real thing. Now, so that's not the question. So you have him, and you're sitting there, and he's talking about that. But then the topic comes up about mass shootings. Because you're 23, you're white, and believe it or not, that's right in the sweet spot of a lot of those mass shootings, not all of them, but a lot. If you were going to take one demographic, you fall within it. So I'm asking you because you know where you would have gone, you think, but think back to when you walked into Teen Spirit. This wasn't even really happening at the level it's happening now. So what about some of those kids that ended up doing that? Had they walked into the same room you walked into? You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you ever think about those kinds of dynamics?
I don't think that I've ever thought about that in specific. I mean, me
The
and my
condition
friends.
of the people doing it is what I mean. Not that what I have turned into that. No. But
No. Yeah.
The pain level of young people who, they were most likely going through the same or more or less or whatever, something when you were, but life took them a different way. No, there wasn't a room for them. There wasn't a grandma who said, and you see what I'm saying? I mean, because I think everybody wants to be heard. Is he frozen or am I frozen? Let me look over here. Okay, I'm on because it's on the screen. Okay, so that's you, Tom. Glad it wasn't me for once.
Can you hear me?
There you are. That was you.
I was able to see you and hear you the whole time.
Okay, so let's just say, do you and your peers talk about these kinds of things, or is it just like another day in the news?
So, I mean, lightheartedly, I have plenty of African American friends. I would say like half of my friends are. One of my best friends is. So lightheartedly, we've joked about little things like that. Like he would be like, "Oh, it's funny, like I can't get pulled over by a cop, but you can." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can't walk into a school with like a armored vest on, but you might be able to because they'll think you're security guard." And so like little things like that we lightheartedly will like joke about. So we're very aware of it. I wouldn't say I've ever wrongly like thought into like how would that have happened, like how would my life have been to that standpoint. I've never thought about like the demographic in terms of like how different kids have grown up in terms of like a white household compared to an African American household, and how that could affect how a kid is growing up and why they would make a choice like that.
Yeah.
And that's really what I would like think about in terms of like when it comes down to like the demographic of it. because I mean, in terms of like, you know, everything else, I can't think of why there would be any other reason that it would be a demographic issue in terms of the way that a white household compared to an African American
Well, yeah,
household is
I
raised.
don't think it's about that. I think it's about the mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's options slash resources. See, your grandmother found a resource because she cared about change in you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Right. And you loved your grandmother enough to listen or to at least give it a chance. So let me ask you this one, Tyler. When you see young kids, you see kids your age or whatever, are you more adept today to be able to read their barometer of something might be going on? I mean, or do you attract, do your circle of influence, are there kids, are they young people like you who think like you, or do you find yourself still trying to pull because you're not with MTS, but you still
Mm-hmm.
are Tyler Emerson? So, like, when people come into your life, new friends, are they surprised sometimes that you are on this path? This is your belief systems, and these are the things that matter to you. Because at your age, everything's about having a good time, people think.
Right. So I don't think anyone's surprised because of how long, I've adapted my entire life to be with, promoting mental and emotional health.
But someone who
I
just meets you, person your age that just meets you, you start talking woo woo, you right, and they're like, and all they're talking about, no, want us to go party, dude, let's go, we want to smoke some weed, or let's go, ain't nothing wrong with smoking weed. People smoke weed is legal, but you know what I'm
right.
saying. But then they go beyond those boundaries, or they test like, hey, anybody wanna, and then you're like, no, I don't roll like that, I'm da da
Hmm.
da da da. What's that like, or does it even happen?
So yeah, like of course, like that happens, and I'm just always like, no, like that's not my thing, and most people are respectable about it, especially like when I first meet someone, everyone's like real respectable. They're like, oh, like you want to smoke? I'm like, no, I'm good. And a lot of the times lately, just everyone my age, we go out to the bar, so I find myself at the bars, fucking, I would say every other weekend. I
It's
find
really great.
myself, yeah. So we're always out there partying and just enjoying life, having fun, but obviously being safe while doing so, taking
Right.
Ubers and everything. But yeah, it's just kind of more so like a hey, no, like I don't think anyone sees that out of me, but you would mention, you would say like, can you tell when someone is going through something? I
Yeah.
100% can. And I could see it like thicken through just when I'm speaking to somebody of, you know, you're going through like a ton of things right now, or like, you're only out because you're going through something right now. And it's very adaptive. I have a friend at work and he goes to the bar every night. I
Because you
don't
guys
work
are
with.
in Las Vegas.
And
Uh-huh.
it's consuming people, and I've never seen something like Las Vegas consume people like gambling does and the drinking does, and it kind of sucks to watch, moving from California and moving to here, to see all the people that go to like gamble and spend like hundreds of dollars a night. And it makes me, being have done MTS and everything for so long, just automatically think like, what led up to this point? Because it wasn't, oh, I just fell into this one day.
Mhm.
It had to have been, you started to go through something in your life and this was your coping mechanism. And for me, I just always think like, what could have that been?
Right. Exactly. Well, listen, we're going to take just a short break. And when we return, I want to talk to Tyler these last few minutes of the interview about a couple things. One of them, he's a father now. How has that affected his goals and how he lives his life? And then I'll save the other question for when we come back. Don't go away. This is a great time to share out the broadcast. We'll be back in just a moment.
All of our stories begin with either in the beginning or once upon a time. And for me, my story began pretty much, and this is how it was referred to for quite a while, a backdoor deal. I could be living in a different neighborhood, in a different school, with different kids in the same bedroom from day to day. And so it began to feel like I was moving through a maze. I was always the kind of kid who would talk to my imaginary friends. They would talk back. And I know now that it was a great thing because it was carving out a place for me to dream. A lot of us will say, well, I want to lose 10 pounds. And then down the road, we've gained it. Why? Because want comes like a wish list, but need comes with a plan. When you feel that power, that is your story, and you see how many paths it can light, trust me, there's nothing in the world that will make you say it wasn't worth it. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris, and Tyler Emerson is here. Hi, Tyler. How are you?
Good. How are you, Lauren?
Good, good. So, yeah, gave you time to think about it during the commercial break. Your dad now.
Oh, yeah.
How old is your son?
He is 6 years old.
So,
he was
okay,
1
y'all do the math.
when I met you.
So that was going on in your life.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's been a very, very up and down 6 years that I've had. So for the first 3 years, I was, with him every day. I was with his mother, and then once he was about 1.5, we broke up.
Okay.
And so once we broke up, I still was seeing him a lot every day up until one point when she'd got remarried. And so I slowly stopped seeing him. And currently I'm actually going through a custody battle with her parents. So a lot went on in her life. She took a sideways path. I don't want to tell too much about
Right, I get
her
it.
story,
Right.
but yeah, she did take a very hard path as well, and things went very rough in her life. So my son ended up being with her family, and at the moment we're going through a custody battle in terms of it's been about 2.5, 3 years since I've seen my son. And
Wow.
so yeah. And it wasn't on my part. I've always tried to see him. I've always reached out. And so at the moment, what the court has decided is he needs to go through counseling in order to be prepared to meet me and to me be reintroduced into his life as
Which
his
makes
father.
sense. Sure.
Mhm.
So
That's going on fully at the
that's a
moment.
lot for a 23-year-old to be dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So
through all this,
Mm.
I was living for the last 5 years. I've lived in Long Beach, and I was living with my ex-girlfriend, and then we broke up, and so this was in like July of last year. I lived by myself up until about October, and then I decided, well, I can't do it. Let me come out to Vegas, and so I rejoined my parents since the first time since I was 13 years old.
So you're reunited with your folks.
Yeah, we've always had, a relationship, but yeah, I haven't lived
But
with
I
them
mean,
since.
living there. So do have they met your son?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
So they haven't seen him either.
Mm-mm.
How did
And they're upset about that.
right? So you got them supporting you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of
that's
course.
awesome. This is going to work out just right. This is going to work out just right. I can feel it. So
Yeah.
tell us about Poison Incorporated. That's a little off-putting of a name at first, but what's it
Exactly.
really mean?
So it means poisoning the air with positivity.
Little
So
juxtaposition there.
exactly, a little bit of a change of context, and so we're bringing a new context to poison. We're poisoning people with positivity, and it's a way of living. And the reason that I say that is because, like I said, it's a way of motivation and a way to put people to push to be better people. Why would you not want to be a better person for yourself? And, even it's written in the Bible. I mean, come on. The Bible says it a million times, be a better person for yourself, just for yourself, not even for anyone else, strictly for yourself so that you could feel better. Once you know that you're happy making the decisions that you are making, life becomes so much more satisfying.
So, wow. So tell us, how do you poison the air with positivity? What do you all do? Or is it just you? How's it work?
So right now I have a team of about 10, 15 people. And I had too big of an idea when I came up with poison. And the reason that I say that is because I tried to do everything. I started with clothing, as you could see, and I dove into that. And I dove super deep into that. And I was like, how far can I make it? And in the midst of all of this, I initially, as a teenager, always knew I wanted a skating brand. I want to create a skating brand, but what's the meaning behind it? What's going to be the name?
You mean skateboarding?
Yeah,
Okay.
skateboarding.
Okay.
Yep, skating. And so once, I finally, Tia Ross. Do you remember Tia
Of
from
course.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Tia Ross, I was about 15 years old, and she totally took me in. She was like, let's get this started. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And I was like, you're going too fast. And so she was like, okay, we'll revisit this in a couple years then. And I was like, okay, cool. So as time went on, I had just never let that leave my mind. Once she showed me you'll have the tools to be successful, I was like, I want to be successful. And after that, I had thought, like I said, I wanted to make it a skateboarding brand. And from there, I started doing every little bits that I could in terms of skateboarding, biking. I got into motocross from this one guy that lived in North Dakota. He reached out to me and I was like, let's do it. And so we started diving into everything. And then I took a step back and was like, well, let's wait a minute. And at the time, I fell really in love with my car. I was going out with a lot of my car friends and I was going to like a car show. We would go to ones in the morning where there's all types of cars, old cars, new cars. I would go to ones where it was just like my car. I had a Subaru, so we'd go to like Subaru things, and like I fell in love with the community. And I had gone to a couple where they were unprofessional and just had no organization in it. And I thought to myself, like, I could do this on a cleaner scale and do my company, like, and push poison with positivity. Like, we're gonna poison all these car enthusiasts with positivity.
So you could just like take your stamp into everything you do. So it sounds like you're going to have brands that have the same message behind them. So when people see the brand, they know. I like that, because then, say two people are together and they see it and the girl goes, oh, I love that brand. Why would you love Poison? Now they get to, well, because it's about poisoning. I get it. It gets people talking, asking, seeking. And that's one of the promises of the universe. If we seek, we're going to find. So here's the final.
Did you tap yourself out? What happened here? Or did I lose you for a little bit on the final question? Wow, he really built up the what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, I can't find the word. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue, and it's annoying that you can't find the word, but we're building up the hype for the last question, aren't we?
Dude,
I'm back
here because you were still on the screen moving, and then I looked over there and it was just you. I was still on the screen with you. Weird. So
I don't know.
Yeah. So here's the question. Let's pretend, last hypothetical.
Okay.
Your son turned 23 years old today. That's the age you are right now. From where you're going to be when he's 23, that man that you know you will be. I didn't say hope to be. Dream to be. I said that man you will be. What one piece of advice would you give him today on his 23rd birthday? What would be the most important thing that you would think that you could tell him at this point in his life? That's a good one, right?
That's a great one. That's a great one. I would say that not everything is such a big deal, and that's for everything, and for me, I've taken everything that I've gone through and dramatized it times 10 in my brain. So I would literally just tell him, like, relax and breathe, because it's step by step.
It's step by step.
If you lose your job tomorrow, it's okay. It's not your career, and until you're working at your career, that's when you don't want to lose your job. But don't stress out and don't live paycheck to paycheck every day.
There you go. Listen, where can people check out more about Poison Inc? Is there a website? Is there a landing page? Maybe a Facebook page?
So I do have a Facebook page. It should just be Poison Inc, Poison INC. At the moment, I took down the website. We're going through a lot of change at the moment. Pretty much getting ready for the next step, getting ready for the next big step we're about to take. And so I wanted to put everything at a halt for right now, in terms of like production with t-shirts and everything, while I focus on a reboot and a redesign of everything to make it for the better.
So the Facebook page is just Poison Inc.
It should be just Poison Inc. Let me slide.
Can you do me a favor? After we get off the air, can you drop that link in the comment section?
Yeah, of course.
And then everybody can go over and check you out. Okay. Well, listen, we can't wait another 3 years or 4 years, however long it's been since you were on the show,
right?
To catch up. Let us know how we can support you in Poison Inc, poisoning the world with positivity, right?
Of course.
And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the good fight. Next time you're here, I'm sure you're going to have some stories to share regarding your time with your son, because that's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon.
Oh, yeah.
Just want you to know you're a great example of young people today, and I've still got my eyes on you. Keep going. Keep showing.
Thank you.
Keep growing.
I appreciate that.
Keep showing. Okay?
Of course.
Perfect. Well, there it is, you guys. Thank you so much, Tyler Emerson, and thank all of you for coming today and helping us to both fulfill that greatest promise of where two or more of us with the same mindset, heart set, that spirit of service to each other. When we come together in agreement, you guessed it, spiritual magic is the result. I want to meet you tomorrow, God willing, right over there on the front porch. I'll see you at 8 a.m. Central. We're together. We create another divine moment in time through another illuminated conversation. Where? Right here on Bathrobe Moments. Get out of here. Have the best day ever. And remember, as always, when I leave you, I tell you, I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks, Tyler. Great job.
Thank you, Lauren.
Of course.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you.